My name is Sophie Chu O'Neill, and I'm the host of In the Hole. Guess who's in the hole today? A man who, frankly, he's been in the hole before.
A few times.
He's been in the hole, he's been on deck, and he's been on stage as a stand-up comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Today in the hole we have Oscar Salem. He acts, he's funny, professionally and for money. He's serious.
Sometimes.
He writes plays and stuff for the screen, for the stage. And he's the best barker that downtown Manhattan has ever seen.
It's true.
Give it up for Oscar Salem.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. You know what was on my mind right now was the John Mulaney impression of Fred Armisen, where he's like, John, I just want to say that I don't think. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Which was the best part of, which is my personal favorite part of Baby J.
Wasn't it so good?
Everyone has their own favorite part, but my favorite part is, that's gonna get rough.
No, it's
Isn't
okay.
gonna get rough.
It's gonna get rough. You said rough. It's a dog. It's okay. This is my bedroom right over here, and every morning a truck comes by and it goes clink 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 clink, and it's super loud. So it's gonna happen maybe in the next hour.
That's okay.
Probably during the pod.
That's okay. That's because we're not just in New York. We're in Astoria.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Astoria, new home to Oscar Salem. I try to have all the podcast episodes occur somewhere meaningful to someone. Not only is this Oscar's bedroom, but part of your writing process now includes sitting at this very table. That's correct?
Yeah, I'm trying to force it because it's pretty out here, and it feels like the right thing to do to write on a little notebook outside, which is like it's super performative, but it's very fun, so it doesn't matter. And so I'm trying to force it as a thing to do. And it's also a good habit to write. Writing is a good habit, and it's fun.
Yeah, is this your strategy to write every day? Is it helping you write more, do you think?
Yes. Well, I always get upset when I have breaks where I don't. And then I always feel like, oh shoot. Well,
you mean breaks from work because it's Passover?
No, I mean breaks in between writing something that's not a journal, that's not a journal entry, because then I always think that I'm gonna be out of practice and I'm gonna be terrible the next time I do it, and I'm gonna have to start all over again. I'm gonna have to start from scratch in terms of skill or like how used to it I am. So then I get anxious, but if you do it every day, then you don't have it can be bad, but at least you don't have to worry about that part.
You think you can get rusty?
Well, yeah. Well, you can get rusty with anything, you know. If I hadn't had one of these in a while, I would probably miss the straw.
And so this missing the straw in this case is writing high quality works.
Well, missing the straw is not writing high quality works.
Yeah.
You get what why is everybody acting like they don't know what I'm talking about?
I want to know the difference between your current process and what your ideal process is, or if you think the ideal process can be really improper and 5 minutes at the desk and 5 minutes at the kitchen counter. What makes a process
My
work?
ideal process doesn't even exist as it's not even a real.
You don't have a concept of what it is?
No, I do, but it's not. It's like Barbie. It's not a real. It's fake. It's unrealistic. It's my ideal process is all day, every day. I'm hunched over a desk with candlelight and the oil is dripping and it's clear I've been there for 100 years, and I have some big text. Most of the time, what it actually is I'm writing something when I said I was going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm writing it outside and I write it long form, and it's usually pretty bad. It's usually not good. And then when I'm walking or doing something else, I think of something, and it can if I didn't do that first part where I was wrote a bunch of bad stuff, then I wouldn't have any inspiration for when I was randomly coming up with an idea later. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm usually all of the best ideas I do are just while I'm walking to and from work, or um, or like I'm daydreaming or doing something else that's not that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's like the good idea. But then if I'm like sitting down and doing it, it's just like a platform upon which to like do something with later. That's what it is right now. In my head, the ideal thing is like, well, I'm really responsible and I'm a workhorse, and I just sit down and have it there, and then I keep working on it. I keep working on it, and whenever I do it, like when miners go back and they pick their axe back up and they go back to work again, it's very much a job that you're obsessed with. That's the unrealistic part of it. But maybe there's a medium between that and what I'm doing now.
Do you think you are obsessed with it, but the obsession just isn't looking the way that you expect it to? Because you're describing a very, like, this is probably the wrong person to reference, but like a Hemingway level, like, we're old timey, it's
Well,
me, a
that's what I
desk,
mean.
like whiskey,
Yeah,
candlelight. But it's
yeah.
not looking like that. But you are doing the obsession thing in the sense that, like, you are carrying the project with you wherever you go, correct?
Yeah, I've always thought people should compare me to Hemingway more. I've always felt like Hemingway on the inside. Uh,
You just want to feel like Hemingway on the outside.
yeah. The good thing is the answer is yeah, but not in like I'm obsessed with it, but not in like I have to finish my work type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like it's always I'm always thinking about it. Um, which is a good thing because sometimes your brain doesn't let you come up with it. Like sometimes your brain is so obsessed with coming up with a good idea that it doesn't let any ideas in. And that's kind of what can happen if you just sit down and write something. Is like, okay, well, now it's time to come up with a good idea. And it's like, absolutely not. There's a wall here because you've set such high expectations for yourself.
Yeah.
And but if you're always thinking about it, then there's times throughout the day where the the stress of that dips down, and you can actually just think of things. Somebody who is not on deck or in the hole but is on the stage is Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge says that like you need so like in order to write you need so much free time, because you need time to you need time to let your mind wander, so that it's just like thinking of ideas uh, and not like singularly uh, focused on one thing, which is, I think, in the end, probably unhelpful. My feeling is always, if you just do something long enough, it will be good. That's always the case.
And you think it's equal? Like some things are immediate and some things just take the work.
Well, not even long enough. Like if you spend like 5 hours at your desk or whatever, like over months and months of time, if you just keep working on a bit or a story or a thing, like you'll find, it's like Where's Waldo? Like you'll find what, like eventually you'll find it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're only looking at so much space. If you're looking at a bit that you wrote, or a story, or whatever it is, or a song that you're making, like you'll find what's wrong with it if you stare at it long enough. I think the forcing it part is just as important, because you have to want it, or else it's not gonna, like, you kind of have to ask the universe for it. You have to let the universe know that you want it, or else they're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you have to apply for the job.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna just look for you.
Mm-hmm. We've talked a little bit about people who have the obsession and will put in the work and are telling the universe that they want it, but are still simply lacking to some capacity. I would like to hear about the difference between having a gift for something and putting in the work for it. Like, what if someone doesn't have the ability to spot Where's Waldo?
They have bad eyesight.
Like, they love Where's Waldo, but they literally can't do it.
This is one of those things where there's no rule. It's just a full spectrum of people who do and don't have all of the qualities that you're talking about, right? So like the example that we were talking about was Neil Breen, because Neil Breen loves making movies, and they have that like The Room style quality, where it's like things are, this is a mess, and this is not obviously like a high standard of filmmaking, but he loves making them, and he really believes in them, and people watch them because they think that combination of like kind of not the quality is not there and also the passion is there, like that quality of stuff is entertaining. He's kind of found his fan base there. And then there's all like, I mean, there's people who are super talented, super talented, and have, well, are there? I think probably if you wanted to do like a breakdown of success, like the very top is people who are super talented and super smart, and super lucky and have tons of drive as well. There's so much conversation about like like the qualities it takes. Like it's not so dissimilar from like alpha male talk where it's like 10 traits alpha males exhibit. I think it's as simple as like try your hardest, try and make the most interesting fun thing you can, like trying to have fun. Like it's literally like have fun, try and be good. Like for me, I think the best thing you can do is probably not worry about any of that. Like I'm not worried about anybody else's career except for mine. Oh. Like I do have like a fire of like I have to like, maybe if I'm in a competition, like I have to beat these people, like, I have to do this. But like I'm not to sit and like think about what they're doing, like if they deserved that spot or whatever is not is like a contaminant. It's like,
Unless it's right in front of you, you're not worried about competition.
yeah, like the farthest I'll take it is like I'll see somebody on their story like get something, like I have to go harder. Like you have to be selfish about like your like where you put your uh, time and energy. Like I know a comedian who you know as well, just like he's good too. Every conversation I have with him is like, yeah, but he doesn't know comedy. That guy doesn't know comedy. And it's just so strange to me that you would that you would spend so much time doing that. It feels weird, you know. I want to be like, hey, like you're fine. Just do your. Why are you like? Why do you care about this person who lives in New Jersey?
I also think this is so interesting. You don't care if someone has the, or correct me if I'm wrong, you don't care if someone has the sensitivity of the appreciation of the art and the history of whatever it may be. Did you always not care about this, or do you think it's because you don't
I don't
treat
know.
it
There was
delicately,
probably like
or
a high school or like middle school version of me that was like, oh, you haven't seen whatever. I don't know if you've gotten this feeling, but if you're in a comedy club and you're watching somebody like do really well on stage who's like a real professional, and they're doing something like funny and interesting, or not even interesting, but like something kind of like stupid, and it's like going really well. There's like a real joy to that. I don't think that there's any like snobbery that you should necessarily be applying to watching movies or anything. My only problem would be if somebody like actually did do that like to other people, or if your like love of something is kind of uh is like feigned or something. Like if you're not as into some like actually as into something as you're saying you are, like you should just like watch and do the things that you like to do. I saw like a film teacher tell like a little kid, he was like you have to watch the classics, you have to watch like you have to watch Spielberg, you have to watch all these things. And that I wanted to step in and be like, actually, you can watch whatever you want. My feeling is, in terms of making things, if you watch like really good movies and you're really good, you're kind of gonna make an amalgam. Like you're not gonna make something like incredibly new. But if you steal from like a lot of bad movies and you make something new out of it, now it's new and good. Do you know what I mean? So like any use of like being pretentious about what movies somebody watches is non-existent. Like it's not real.
Judd Apatow was talking about how if you go up on stage for stand up and they can tell that you are insecure in your jokes, they won't laugh. You have to be confident that it's funny. Like the audience has to trust that you're funny to be able to perceive you as such. So that I would argue is confidence. But Morgan Ziegler and I were talking about the distinction between confidence and faith in yourself long term,
Mm-hmm.
and those are two, I think, completely distinct scales that could help each other for sure, but are still separate.
I think confidence is like a complicated word to use. I think very much the intention with which you play a song or perform a bit or do something very much matters. And I think confidence in terms of maybe filmmaking and songwriting is probably like explicitly important. But if you're a comedian, I don't think you could probably say that confidence is like necessary, although in some of the greats it is like one of the defining qualities. There's a comedian right now who's young. He's like my age. His name is Assad Benbow, and his whole bit is is literally the opposite. And like I think it's like I've talked to him, like he legitimately feels that. And his whole bit is like shit, like I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna try something new. Like okay, wait, I'm not gonna do that. His whole bit is that he's not confident, and he like kind of is like, and he kind of doesn't feel that. There's too many examples of anything working in stand up that that I probably couldn't say like, well, you have to have confidence, because a lot of comedians actually don't have confidence, or it's completely feigned, or it's like not real. Like, is authenticity like I don't know. IDK, like Andy Kaufman, there was probably confidence there, like a sort of mastermind confidence, but not necessarily like a bravado.
We're back after the short commercial break. The commercials are just things that I want people to buy that we don't profit from. I forgot to ask you all of my most pressing burning questions, which is, how did this happen? Do you accredit all of your success to Frenchwoods? I would also like to know what dropping out of college was like, because I accredit that decision to what will later make you a bazillionaire stand-up comedian.
I started on my 17th birthday, because I had seen people doing stand up in the park. It was almost an anxious thing of like, I'm not gonna do it, but if I did, like I have to be prepared. Like if somebody forces me to do stand up, like I have to be prepared.
If someone like locked you in a room, was like, do type 5, like you needed to make sure.
Which
in
is
that
not
event.
a real fit. Like it was
But
like
that's what the
it was
urgency
like a
felt
layer
like.
of deceit. It was like I think I did want to do it.
And this was during COVID too.
This was
You
during
saw
COVID.
people doing
By
this
the
in
way,
the park.
this was like this was not safe. What they were they were doing. Like this is one of those things that you would get really mad at, like during that time of tension. Like it was just people. This is not. They would put like a little, like when dogs have shoes, they would put a mask on the mic, and then they would do stand up. Like they would do, and it was like it was garbage. It was real bad, and like the police would shut it down, like almost every time. Like it was, and there would be like hecklers who were just homeless people in the park. It was Washington Square Park. Point is, I did it, and I did it for weeks after that because I was like super obsessed with it, and then I stopped. Sometimes I tell people I stopped because I had to go to school, but that's not the truth. The truth is I stopped because I was supposed to do a roast battle, and then it got canceled, and then I got so upset about it that I didn't go back. Because I'd skipped like essays in school to write the roasts, and I was just like so furious that it didn't happen.
Essays in school meaning senior year. And then you went to college.
And then I went to school.
And you went to
SUNY Purchase for 1 year, and then I left due to to being not good at it, and to wanting to do stand up as well.
You liked the college aspect of college, but not the academic aspect of college, or did you like your
Well,
classes?
I'm just not good at I'm just bad at school, or I'm bad at doing
the structure of school.
Sure. I always like to put all blame on myself, because I never want it to be like, there's so many stories of people being like, school wasn't like, it was the system trying to get me down, and I was too smart for the system. Looking back, it was 100% my fault.
Okay.
So
You're taking responsibility. You're not rebelling against the institution. Oscar's pro college.
I actually am pro college. I think college is a very good thing. I think more people should get educated. That being said, I have very little talent for just like sitting down and doing something. That thing of like, the ideas come when I'm walking around. Like you can't do homework. Like I also wouldn't have wanted to. I had no skill for college or high school. And when I went to college and nobody was watching me, and like there were no tutors, and nobody was like trying to ensure that I succeeded, it was a mess.
And so you decided you would leave with the intention of pursuing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And how did that go?
Well, I signed up for the industry room, and that was going to be like, well, if I get this, then I'll like.
Shout out industry room.
Shout out
but that was
industry
your
room,
deciding
low-key
factor.
the greatest.
If this works, then this was the right choice. Was
Yeah.
it like, okay, and you got it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not, in hindsight, it wasn't so. I mean, for like my first, well, not first time, but like my first time in years, it was okay. But like in hindsight, that shouldn't have been my benchmark. But it was very helpful for me in terms of being like, listen, mom, I got this thing, and so I'm gonna go do it.
High school and college, you were like classic, maybe like troublemaking, not really in it for the academics. But then I would argue that French Woods had a lot of things that like school kind of had, which is like you had like structure and you had to do things and you had to like in theater you have to learn lines and like that's effectively homework, and that part came easier too, right? French Woods, you felt like you succeeded there, right?
Yes, I felt like I succeeded there. I felt like I succeeded there. It was more like it was just like I was so aware that how good it was while I was there. It was crazy. It was just like this like heavenly place where you could literally do whatever you wanted, and like I'm such a junkie in terms of like performing and like being in front of an audience that like there were so many opportunities to do it that I was just like, this is the greatest place of all time. And they would get mad at you for doing what they didn't want like you to do, but you could still do it. Like it was like all faked. Like you could still do whatever you wanted. It was great. But yes, in that sense, I would sit in school and just daydream about not being in school and being there because it was so great. I loved it so much. I actually do credit a lot of like my sensibility to the culture there.
How did you start going to French Woods? And how old were you? You went from what
9.
ages?
I was like 8 or 9.
Okay. And did you ask to go because you knew someone else that went, or did your
No.
parents just decide?
I didn't want to
you?
because my brother used to go to a camp called Camp Hillard, and I wanted to be like my brother, and I was like, now I'm old enough and I'm ready to go, and they're like, actually, we're taking you to this other place. And I was like, that's not fair. Like I'm supposed to be like my brother. It ended up being like Camp Hillard is like in comparison is like a doggy doo doo like apocalyptic nightmare. What?
Is it for the arts as well?
No.
Okay.
They don't know what they're doing over there in comparison to. They're stupid.
Were you already doing similar things? I mean, you were so young. Like, were you in? Did they tried to get you into like soccer, right?
No, I'm like well, I was. You had to do a sport in middle school.
Elementary school, middle school.
In middle school, but I mean, I was doing plays when I was very, very young. Like when I was like 2, like they would have us do plays and stuff like that. They would have us do like not like a real. You wouldn't be doing Chekhov.
No me.
Although that's a very
Romeo
funny
and Julio.
idea.
Romeo.
You take a drop of vodka now. They'd be like, we're doing a play about aliens.
Sorry, can you say that line as your 2-year-old self?
We take a drop of vodka now.
Point is, they have kids do these little plays, and you loved it.
They would have like programs and stuff, and like if you were 2 years old, like they would put you in like a blue afro, and they would like be like you're an alien, and like you're in this alien play. There were like different programs that my parents would put me into, and so like I was automatically very much into it, although they weren't. I guess I don't understand why my parents aren't thespians or like artistic in that sense, but at least my mom was very interested in getting me into theater and stuff like that. My mom was like cheerleading squad prom queen, like straight A's class president. My dad was the opposite. I was very much a mix of both.
Because you were class president?
I was.
But you were not prom queen.
I was not.
And you were not on the cheerleading squad.
We didn't have a cheerleading squad. We didn't have anything like New York private schools. They don't have like stuff like that.
Frenchwoods affirmed and encouraged this artistic pursuit, and high school and college not being right for you also helped direct you onto this path. And my thought is maybe the urge would have been there anyways, but if you had found immediate success and comfortability in academics, you might not have diverted to artistic pursuit as early as you did, because I think the leap of faith into comedy and leaving college for it, even though there is a lot of pressure to go to college, even now when people have actually decided that like being college isn't even that helpful, but like if academics was anything better than it was or any more right for you than it was, that may not have happened.
Maybe. I don't know if hypothetically I would have done the same thing. I mean, I like my interest was pretty strong in terms of performing, and I knew that's what I would end up doing, or I would be doing something creative and something artistic in that way. I I, I guess I wasn't sure what it would be. It felt too like so obvious to me that like that's something that like somebody would want to do, and it felt so fun. Like I used to do like plays in preschool. But like I didn't know even how to write them, so I'd just draw pictures of the plays and then be like, and then I would show the cast, which is not anybody. There's no cast. It's just like kids in the class, and be like, all right, so like you're obviously the dinosaurs have guns, and obviously we're gonna be taking place. This is gonna be a big battle, so you're gonna have to get into that mode. And like I think I explicitly told like my preschool teachers that I was like interested in doing, or earlier teachers that I was really interested in doing stuff like that. I flipped between like wanting to be like a director and an actor and all of these things, and there were always people who like very much encouraged that. Like I had like music teachers who very much encouraged it, and acting teachers who very much encouraged it. But like school, like there wasn't a lot of space. Like you had to like sneak around. There wasn't a lot of space to do stuff like that. Like I was skipping periods in Frenchwoods, like ones that didn't mean anything. And like one of the head people was like giving me a talking to. Is like you can't be skipping periods. But if you want, you know what you can do is like you you can come to my office and you can like write if you want, and that way you don't have to do this like random period or whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. And so I did that for like the summer. Like I did whatever period that was, I did it, which is not like an opportunity they would have afforded at at school. I was never good at anything. I was never good at anything else.
Well,
My talents were limited, in that like I had like a fun creative energy that I wanted to put places, and there wasn't a lot of places to put it. Like I mean, there was actually. I could do like the play and stuff. In class, I was a real nuisance,
would you
and not
like
even like a fun nuisance. Presentations would become a whole thing.
I heard a story that you showed up to a presentation and it was like a group presentation,
Yeah,
and you went out of your way to prepare a presentation about something else,
yeah.
and then also showed up with like tequila in like a to-go mug. So you showed up like with alcohol, like prepped. Also, what I found was most interesting, stayed up late the night before to prepare said presentation,
Yeah.
but it just had to be about like the wrong thing.
I really wanted to be good in school. Like I really wanted it, but had no had like there was like a brick wall in front of that, like mentally, so unable to do things that weren't artistic, like that weren't creative. And that's not like me like telegraphing or like signaling anything. Like I had zero ability to do that. So whenever there was a presentation, the only way that the presentation would get done for me was if I found an angle that was like not what the thing originally was. And sometimes it would work, like in biology. Like sometimes like I could find something or in physics, like we did a thing about atomic bombs, and I made mine about the morality of dropping bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and like that passed as like, okay, well that's acceptable because we're talking about atomic bombs. And like that throw of a presentation kind of made sense there. But then like the one you're talking about, it's a bit of a mishmash, because I don't think I was I don't think I brought tequila in then. and it probably wouldn't have been tequila. It probably would have been Pink Whitney. It was a pretty big failure because I'd usually gotten away with doing what I just said. That time I'd like pre-decided on an angle that I was going to go for, and it was going to be like about corruption in like GMOs and stuff like and like how like they're genetically modifying our foods and stuff like that. What I ended up learning what throughout the night, and what I would do is I would stay up, so like I would like procrastinate until like maybe 10, 11 o'clock, something like that. And so then I did the presentation, and it was a huge disaster, but I got an A because everybody else did good. So
For any listeners that might be bringing Pink Whitney to school and not enjoying their academics and really want to be good at academics but just simply aren't, would you say that you should listen to the part of you that is unmotivated? Is the answer make the presentations fun and bring Pink Whitney?
I don't think so. I think that was a distraction. The industry, like the industry that people have told you doesn't have any opportunities and doesn't have any opportunity to make money or like live a life in, usually does. There's probably a lot more people interested in like making music than doing stand up. Like if you're interested in making music, learn how to like sound mix and like do all of this stuff. If that's your thing, like go into that, because to waste your time with stuff that you're not good at is very silly. There certainly is like a bottom line in terms of like, well, if you just like focus on this thing, like you'll have like there's stuff you can do. You can make it work for sure.
We've reached my favorite part of the interview. Oscar Salem, what's next? Do you have I was actually going to say, do you have any buns in the oven? But you don't have a bun in the oven.
I don't have a bun in the oven.
I want to know what you're working on right now, and just like a college counselor, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? What's your 20-year plan?
I don't have a 5-year plan, but I do have a 25-year-old plan, which is I need to be making money only from stand up and like have a stand up related job, like a writing job or something like that by 25. My benchmark for things is like how my parents talk about me at parties. I can't have her be like, well, he's really trying to get this stand up thing off the ground and we'll see how that, like, it can't be that. It has to be like, well, he has like a writing job where he's doing this. That's my bottom line for that. That's what I'm working towards.
That's your bottom line. So what is your ideal?
I don't. The ideal is like SNL. I mean, that's the only way it could go that fast. Like my stand-up career couldn't go as fast as that. If that makes sense. Like my stand-up career couldn't pop off as fast unless I started doing reels. Maybe I should start doing reels.
You have a resistance to being on social media. Why are you not doing it? Especially if you're saying that you understand that it could propel you faster.
It's more like you have to be really careful about. I think maybe it's not so difficult, and there's people proving this every day, to gain some virality on social media, but you have to be really careful because like your career is your brand, and the thing that you build a connection off of has to be the thing that you want to be doing like 20, 30 years from now, right? And you can shift and you can leverage your fame to do different things, but like the connection has to be there in terms of your audience. I think like there are people who are doing like more monologue style, like phone camera videos that can sometimes be really cool, and maybe some of them are low effort. I have no like thing about that. In terms of what I would like to do is I'd like to have like really cool specials that I make. Have the connection be to stand up. If I wrote a show, like it would be a connection to that as well. If the connection between the audience and you is through a certain thing, that kind of can't be undone. Chris Fleming got bigger off of social media, but doing stand up still, right? And the reason a lot of people don't do stand up for their social media is because you waste your best material. I think all of these roads are totally valid, but for the thing that I personally want to do, people can still build an audience that's not off social media, and Like that very much still exists. Although social media is a powerful force, like the alternative does still exist. And if I do put something on social media, I have to make sure that it follows the criteria of what I want to do. And I don't think that there's a like a really short timeline on that. I
Mhm.
also think like you have to people need time to get good and need time to like work on their thing. Like someone's like John Marco Cerezi, like he's using social media and he did all this stuff, but like what people don't talk about is that he had like 10 years of like practicing doing shitty comedy clubs in the city before he did that. I wouldn't be able to name a comedian that's been doing it for 5 years and then popped off on social media and is now doing like really great shows that will last a long time because they didn't have that time to like practice in the dark. I just think you have to be really careful about what you build your brand off of. Not to get too corporate, but like your brand is like sacred. You don't want anything to eat away at that. Stuff I'm working on right now, I just had a garbage show. It did not go well. And then I had an okay show. I haven't written like something super useful in a while. I've written stuff, but none of it's like useful. I gotta figure something. I gotta figure something out. Cause if Broadway comedy doesn't like me, then I'm gonna go die in a hole. They don't. If I do badly tonight, I'm gonna go disappear for forever. Cause I gotta show at 5. And you know what? This is some in the hole shit. I got a show at 5. I have a show at 6:30, and I have a show at 8:30. I have to bark. I have to sell tickets for the 6:30 and the 8:30. But I can't. If I bark, I have to bark for an hour. So I have to start at 5:30 for the 6:30. I have a show at 5. I'm not gonna bark for the 6:30. But the owner, he doesn't know that. Well, maybe I shouldn't even say. Well, he's not gonna listen to this. Well, wait, hold up. But that's not. He's just not. He probably will not. Well, maybe he will later, but that's fine if he does later. Sometimes people show up late. I haven't done this me personally, but sometimes people show up like an hour later and they're like, how are things going? I'm like, I was selling tickets this whole time. Where were you? So I'm gonna do the 5. I'm gonna pretend like I sold tickets for the 6:30. I'm gonna say that I was on the corner because nobody goes to the corner. Nobody checks over there. And if they do, I'm gonna say I was at the other corner. And I don't care about the 6:30. That could go good, bad. That could go good, bad. I don't care about the 6:30. The 5, if that goes bad, I'm gonna go on a manhunt for Oscar Salem. I'm gonna be John Wick for myself. And if the 8:30 goes bad, that's fine. But I would rather it go well. It's a sunny day. The gang's all here. The 8:30 should be very good because it's the 8:30 on a Saturday and it's like sunny, so it should be great. But if I bomb, I'm gonna go die. I'm gonna go kill him. and and I need new material. But anyways, those shows I'm nervous about today. I would like them to go well. And I have the Just for Laughs callback May 13th, which I pray to God, I figure something out like so undeniably good by then. That would be splendid. And they have a thing called Just for Laughs Pilot, where you submit a pilot, and the deadline is April 13th. Today's April 4th. So what I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna try and do a pilot just in my apartment, and I'm gonna try and do it this week, and I'm gonna block everything out, and I'm just gonna try and do it. And if it works, that would be so nice because I would love to finish. Like I haven't really finished something in a while, which has been upsetting me, and I would really like to finish this and have it be a thing because I like putting things out, and I like when people are like, "Whoa, saw that thing you did." That makes me happy, and I would like to do that. And it's gonna be all in my apartment, and if I don't do it, I'm gonna be very disappointed. But it's gonna be really difficult because it has to be like 15 to 30 minutes, and it's just me. Can't be anybody else. I'm gonna control the camera using string, I think, but I don't know how that would work. Well, we'll figure it out. And also, I talked to that guy. I talked to this guy Kai. He's gonna be on it. He seemed to like some of the ideas, but maybe I was a little intimidated. He went to U Chicago, so the other thing is what The play is, hopefully I finish the play.
The Heaven play?
Yeah.
I've been a fan of this play for a long time. I'm very excited for that. I think that'll be really cool.
I have to finish. I would have to finish that too, and that one I feel really every I'm like every line has to be like purposeful and good, and like this all has to like really fit together, or else this whole premise is gonna be super pretentious and annoying. The working title is Nobody's Allowed to Touch Me. Actually, I do like that title.
I like this title very much, but I do want to capsule the fact that Sophie liked this title, so if it gets there, I'm the one that brought that back.
I was blinded by it because I kept saying it to myself, so I didn't even feel like anything. Those are the things I'm worried about right now. I mean, who knows if anything will happen. I have chores that are months, years late, so who knows.
What do you love about being in the hole? Being in running around the city, barking, overbooking yourself, having laundry pile up. Like what is great about this stage that you think you might miss when you're on deck, at bat, on stage?
I like that there's not a lot of people watching, and that I can mess up infinitely. Although that's not even true, because there are some shows that are like important, but like the sentiment is still true that my potential is so infinite. Not like everybody's potential is so infinite, but like at this time, but like potential is so infinite at this time that you could do anything you want. And I think my hope is that in the future I don't lose sight of that that's still true. You know, like some people were like, I can't get my thing made because the producer said so. I'm like, well, you should probably just do it yourself then, huh?
I'm going to ask you to recommend 3 pieces of media. This can be a comic that you saw recently that people should see. It can be a movie you saw forever ago or recently. It could be Hoppers. It could be Project Hail Mary. We've been going to the movies a lot. Or if there's music that you think has been pulling you through. I know you've been listening to a lot of Malcolm Todd.
No, don't tell them.
It can be.
Don't tell them I'm listening to Malcolm Todd.
Oscar described his Malcolm Todd excitement as like, if it goes like this, he said that I'm finding him here.
Well, that was a while ago, but
So where are you
then it
now?
went down, and now it's having a resurgence, frankly, because I found for me.
It doesn't have to be 3
I
things.
want them to be really good, though.
Yeah.
I want them to be really good, but I think maybe the Greta Gerwig Little Women is, I didn't know in the book Little Women, because I hadn't read it. It goes front to back in terms of doing all of the timeline stuff chronologically. In the movie, it's all mixed up. It's all mixed up, and I think it's like I shouldn't have done that so performative. Wait, I should have started with something else and then done that.
I can switch it around if you want.
No.
You are truly a feminist, Oscar.
Not you. Well, yes, but damn it. But that is legitimately one of my things that I think everybody should watch. It's so good, and it's so, like, in terms of like telling a story, all mixed up. It's so perfect. Oh, yes. Wait, yes. Why didn't I do this? I highly recommend the Pimp Chronicles Part 1 from Katt Williams. And I'm also going to include any Maria Bamford. Any Maria Bamford is the goat of all goats. She's the goat of all goats. She will be looked upon as Beethoven, Mozart combined into one. She's the goat of all goats in terms of stand-up. Maria Bamford. So anything that she's ever done, do that. Maybe don't do Lady Dynamite, although it's great. Do stand-up first, and then Pimp Chronicles Part 1 from Katt Williams. It's the best special. It's the best comedy special ever. And my third thing, maybe I should do music, something music related. You should listen to Free to Be You and Me. It's a children's album from like the 70s. Those are really, wait, I'm proud of those.
Yeah.
Those were good picks.
Especially since I did not warn you that was happening until.
That could have gone really badly. I could have come up with some cringe picks, but Free to Be You and Me is absolutely so good.
I would love to have you on deck after.
I'm getting invited on deck?
I would love to have you on deck. I would love for this to be after you do Just for Laughs in Montreal. I think that would be a great time to check
that would be really nice if I got that. He seems to like me. Joshua Sandoval. I know your name. Please. I want it so bad.
Thank you for listening to In the Hole. This has been Oscar Salem in the Hole. Where can we find you? because it's not on Instagram Reels.
You can come to St. Mark's Comedy Club. You can come to Broadway or Greenwich Village Comedy Club. You can come to the Grizzly Pear now. I'm performing there now. And maybe check out the QED, although she didn't see my set, so it's kind of, maybe it could be good that she didn't see my set. It was kind of mid.
Last night was your first set at the QED?
It was the first, but I'm gonna have to, Gary Goldman too. He did not email me back, which made me really sad, because he said he would get, Gary Goldman said he would get coffee with me, but he did not email me back. But maybe if he is my mentor, maybe they'll let me perform at the QED.
It's a holiday.
It is Passover.
It's Passover. Happy Passover.
Happy Passover. All right, we're done?
Yes.
Let's bazounce.